Welcome back to episode 5 of the Bitcoin Masterclass. Today we're going to be looking at some more short-term intracycle charts. So intracycle meaning we're not just taking action at the tail end of bear markets or at the peak of bull markets, or at least we're not trying to. We're trying to take action a little bit more frequently. We're looking to try and buy Bitcoin multiple times throughout the cycle, regardless if the price is a little bit higher than bear cycle lows. And we're looking to maybe take profit a little bit more actively rather than just looking for a handful of opportunities. So first and foremost, we'll start with the short-term hold at realized price, which I think is one of the most important metrics to be taken into consideration with your short-term analysis on the market. Now, we've looked at the realized price multiple times across this series. It is the average accumulation price of new market participants. Now, we've looked at the realized price multiple times already throughout this series. It is the average accumulation price or cost basis for all market participants. However, this can be warped a little bit because if we look at all market participants, then we're looking at people who bought Bitcoin over a decade ago when we were significantly lower in price. We're also taking into consideration Bitcoin that may be lost as their owners passed away or they threw their hard drives into the garbage or something. If we look at the short-term hold at realized price, this gives us insights based on the people who are very active in Bitcoin. These are the most recent market participants, so we can check the psychology and sentiment from these more active new entrants into the market. So what we need to take into consideration here is it may seem a short amount of time, but the actual definition for a short-term holder is someone that's been holding Bitcoin for less than 155 days. Now, you may be looking at Bitcoin holders who have been holding for months and months and months or years or even a decade plus and think they're long-term holders, but there is actually some science behind this, because if you are holding Bitcoin for less than 155 days, the probability that you're going to move it again before that 155-day period ends is actually above 50%. If you've just bought Bitcoin, chances are you're probably going to sell it before that 5-month approximately time frame has elapsed. Whereas if you've held Bitcoin for more than 155 days, then you're more probable to hold it for an indefinite period of time. So it is a genuine, meaningful calculation and figure. It's not an arbitrary number. But what we can see, almost like the moving averages we looked at in the previous video, this short-term hold at realized price gives us a moving dynamic level of support and resistance throughout Bitcoin bull and bear markets. If, for example, we look through 2017 and the previous bull market, what we can see is as Bitcoin comes down to this level, it usually has a strong rebound and reaction from buyers. We usually see Bitcoin come down, test this level, the average accumulation price of the newest entrants into the Bitcoin market, and we usually see a positive reaction. This may be due to the fact that new market participants at their break-even point start panic selling, and this is when more experienced traders come in and sweep up some panic sold Bitcoin, or it may be the fact that they reaccumulate at these levels. But regardless, this is a pretty interesting phenomenon that we see within the market. And like I said, the same is true for bear markets. As the Bitcoin price rebounds to the short-term hold at realized price, it usually acts as a moving level of resistance. Now, again, it may be people having a false sense of hope before more people take profit, or it may be those that bought in and at their break-even price, they're just happy to get out of the market once again. But this is an incredibly useful metric to be looking at. And if you take this one step further, like we did with the MVRV, if we look at the short-term hold at MVRV, this just looks at the ratio between the underlying accumulation price for these new market participants and the Bitcoin price action. But one of the really interesting things that we see is, if I just add on a few lines on this chart, is that the human psychology of these new market participants is, I don't want to say predictable, but there's lots of patterns in these levels. We can see pretty much any time the short-term holder MVRV reached these low levels, it marked extreme capitulation and amazing accumulation opportunities pretty much before an immediate rebound in the Bitcoin price action. And the same is true for the upside. We usually see some patterns in this data. For example, as Bitcoin usually gets to around this point, it is almost always indicated that Bitcoin is getting a little bit overheated, that maybe would do a little bit of a consolidation and a period of diminishing volatility where the price just goes sideways. Because just as price is cyclical and we see these big swings to the upside and these big bear markets to the downside, Volatility is also cyclical as well. We usually see contraction leading to expansion. Imagine a spring where Bitcoin has these big moves and then it needs to cool off a little bit. And as it coils in, more money's flowing in, there's more potential, there's more kinetic energy ready for Bitcoin to expand upwards or maybe to the downside. So there's lots of things to take into consideration when doing this more short-term analysis on the market. But one of the other great metrics that I like to look towards is the active address sentiment indicator, because this is also based on on-chain data, because it's looking at the percentage change in active addresses on the network, as well as the percentage change on the underlying Bitcoin price. Now, why this is useful is because if the Bitcoin price is rapidly accelerating to the upside, but we're not seeing a matched level of new market participants, an amount of users actually using the Bitcoin network, then it's maybe not quite as sustainable. A network not being utilized by its users as price rapidly accelerates probably doesn't have that sustainability. But the same is true for the downside. If we see a huge amount of Bitcoin network utilization and we see the price very rapidly drop to the downside, then maybe this isn't a sustained or potentially deserved drop. There's a little bit of a divergence that we see. But you have to remember, Bitcoin and all markets can remain very irrational for a very long period of time. So when using metrics like this, I like to wait for a crosses back above, because what we're seeing here is this red line is the standard deviation band of the 28-day active address change, almost like the upper limit almost. Obviously, there'll be times when we go above it, but in general, this is where this data point doesn't expand beyond too frequently. And this green one at the bottom is, again, where we don't usually drop beneath this point too often. So once the 28-day percentage price change crosses above this green deviation band to the downside, it usually indicates a good accumulation opportunity for Bitcoin. And when we cross above the upper red deviation band and back beneath, it usually indicates that we may be having some downwards periods of price action ahead. And like I mentioned in the previous video, if you go over to TradingView, you actually gain access to the active address sentiment indicator metric, and therefore you can use it on your charts. So you'll be able to come in and look in real time and draw on your charts to see, yes, here could be a good area to be accumulating into Bitcoin, dollar cost averaging in at some cheap levels before the Bitcoin price action accelerates to the upside. And again, if we cross beneath this active address sentiment indicator, maybe a good indication to take some profit before the price diminishes again. Now, the final one we'll be looking at today is the Bitcoin Crosby ratio. Now, this is a purely technical indicator rather than the previous two, which look at more on-chain orientated creation and formulation. This is purely looking at a 30-day moving average in the Bitcoin price section. You can come down and see the actual formulation and calculation of it here. But again, rather than looking at static valuations, looking at something that cannot be altered, this is looking at the top 5% or bottom 5% of Bitcoin's price action and data points. So this is a dynamically evolving metric. And again, this is an indicator that's available with a site subscription on TradingView. So if we come over back to TradingView here, what we can see, this Crosby ratio has very accurately identified major market cycle peaks to the upside and market cycle bottoms to the downside. But this is where we take into consideration the multi-time frame analysis that we did previously. Because if we look at this on a weekly time frame, then once again, we can see it's correctly and accurately identified major market cycle, bull market tops and bear cycle lows throughout the entire history of Bitcoin. And if you're trading a little bit more frequently, then you could even drop down to an intraday time frame. So for example, if I go on the 12-hour chart here, then what we can see is it allows us to see the Bitcoin price action with a higher resolution, with a higher degree of accuracy. And then what we can see is every time the price has actually resulted in the Crosby ratio hitting this upper region, it's not only marked pretty local major peaks in the Bitcoin price action, but it's allowed us to trade a little bit more actively in the market, potentially as the Bitcoin price action is range bound, as we're stuck within a tight consolidationary range between resistance and support for the Bitcoin price action. So I definitely take into consideration these more short-term metrics, even if you are just a long-term investor. Looking at the Bitcoin price action through a different lens can really give some good insights. But I'm very much aware that looking at Bitcoin's chart and price action, all of these data points every single day can be a very time-consuming process. So if you are a site subscriber, then you actually gain access for real-time alerts for a huge number of the Bitcoin Magazine Pro indicators. So this way, rather than just having to look at your charts and set up lots of complicated alerts and systems to keep on top of everything, you can just choose the alerts that you receive, and you receive an email as soon as any of these data points are triggered, so you can take action immediately. Because a lot of people do want to be a little bit more active with their investments and in the market. They don't want to just hold Bitcoin and slowly dollar cost average into the market over many, many years, if you're trying to be a little bit more active, then we have the data for you and we have the means for you to keep on top of things to really simplify and improve that process. So I hope you enjoyed this content looking at Bitcoin through a slightly more technical and short-term lens. And in the final episode of our masterclass series, we'll be looking at macroeconomic confluence and how you can put all of these pieces that we've learned together. So as always, thank you all very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.